Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Riley King, and welcome to this breaking news special report right here on the Riley King Network. Joe Biden is delivering remarks ahead of his departure to Washington, D.C. Let's listen in to that right now.
How much you mean to me and to every one of us. You know, in our family, the values we share, the character we strive for, the way we view the world, it all comes from home. It all comes from Delaware. The state that gave my mother and father a home and a livelihood when they needed it most. The state that made my brother and sister and I, both of whom are here, understand that we could do whatever we dreamed of, whatever that was. And it gave me a chance when I was just a kid to elect me to, and believed in me and sent me to the United States Senate before going to the county council, after going to the county council, where Jill and I found one another and where she made me strong, as Ernest Hemingway wrote, in all the broken places. And the state that loves our children and our grandchildren and loved our Beau, and he so loved you right back. General Barry, when the headquarters was named after Beau, I told General Vavel at the time, it means everything to me, to Hunter, to Ashley, to Jill, to our whole family. But Beau would be the first to say the honor goes to the men and women of the Delaware National Guard and their families, who gave so much, were true patriots, defined by the courage of their character. And so it's deeply personal that our next journey to Washington starts here, a place that defines the very best of who we are as Americans. I know these are dark times, but there's always light. That's what makes this state so special. That's what it taught me. It taught me the most. There's always light. When I came home after graduating from Delaware and then going on to law school at Syracuse, I came home after law school to Wilmington, to our county. It had gone dark. Dr. King was assassinated. Wilmington had been in flames. The National Guard patrolled the streets. And that turmoil inspired me to become a public defender, a step I never anticipated would lead me toward this improbable journey. Where 12 years ago, I was waiting at the train station in Wilmington for a black man to pick me up on our way to Washington, where we were sworn in as President and Vice President of the United States of America. And here we are today, my family and I, about to return to Washington to meet a black woman of South Asian descent, to be sworn in as President and Vice President of the United States. As I told Beau on that station waiting for Barack and Hunter, and Ashley, I said, don't tell me things can't change. They can, and they do. That's America. That's Delaware. A place of hope and light and limitless possibilities. And I'm honored. I'm truly honored to be your next president and commander-in-chief. And I'll always be a proud son of the state of Delaware. As Tommy, or better known as Chairman Carper, Senator Carper, knows, my colleagues in the Senate used to always kid me for quoting Irish poets. They thought I did it because I'm Irish. I didn't do it for that reason. I did it because they're the best poets in the world. And James Joyce was said to have told a friend that when it comes his time to pass, when he dies, he said, Dublin will be written on my heart. Well, excuse the emotion, but when I die, Delaware will be written on my heart. And the hearts hearts of all of us, all the Bidens. We love you all. You've been there for us in the good and the bad. You never walked away. And I am proud to be a son of Delaware. And I am even more proud to be standing here doing this from Major Beau Biden. So, ladies and gentlemen, I only have one regret. He's not here. Because we should be introducing him as president. But we have great opportunities. Delaware has taught us anything's possible. Anything's possible in this country. So God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you.
Farewell to Delaware, his home state, for the President-elect Joe Biden, an emotional Joe Biden. You just heard him say it right there, saying the man who should be up there is the next president, Beau Biden. Apologizing for that emotion, but it is understandable. Joe Biden, first elected to the Newcastle County Council back in 1970, then the youngest senator in the country in 1972, now heading to Washington as the oldest president-elect in American history. I want to bring in our new chief White House correspondent, Cecilia Vega. As he said, Delaware written on his heart.
Delaware written on his heart, George, and I think what we're seeing is two things there. We're seeing a father who is still grieving and mourning the loss of his son, and we should note that Beau Biden was 46 when he passed away, and Joe Biden will be sworn in a matter of hours now as the 46th president of the United States. And we are seeing a politician come full circle, someone who has wanted this so badly, someone who today seems like he was surprised that he's there right now, that he really couldn't believe that this was actually happening, this dream that he has been chasing. He wasn't even 30 years old, George, when he won that Senate seat back in the 70s. He was weeks away from being old enough to be sworn in. And the tragedy that he has lived in those years since, losing a wife and losing a daughter, and of course losing a son, and all the friends that I've spoken to in the days leading up to this, they tell me it is that grief, that ability to empathize, that makes Joe Biden the man that he is today, and frankly the politician that he can relate to the struggles that people live with, particularly in this time of hardship in our country right now. So we're seeing this come full circle for Joe Biden, and clearly he's emotional, and I imagine we will see this emotion carry through tomorrow.
That empathy may have been his greatest strength in the presidential campaign. Thank you, Cecilia. I want to bring in our chief Washington correspondent, John Carlin. John, a couple points with you. First of all, it's hard not to start out by saying, boy, what a contrast between the incoming president and the outgoing president.
These men couldn't be more different. Their approaches to politics couldn't be more different. Biden ran his campaign largely on the idea of uniting America and saying over and over again that he was going to be the president of all Americans, not just Democrats, not just Republicans, all Americans, a unifying message. Now the challenge will be whether or not he can act on it.
And John, this is coming as Washington also preparing for the second impeachment trial of President Trump, and a significant statement, probably in his final speech as the Senate Republican leader, Mitch McConnell, gave a speech on the Senate floor saying that President Trump provoked the rioters on January 6th.
Point blank, he did not couch those words. He came right out and said it. He put blame for that riot on President Trump and other powerful people. That's what he said exactly. President Trump and other powerful people for provoking that riot. Very significant, George, because as we go into what we expect to be a Senate trial starting very soon, perhaps next week, Mitch McConnell has not said how he would vote, has not said whether or not he would vote to convict Donald Trump. And remember, in the first impeachment, he came right out in the beginning and said that the impeachment was ridiculous, that he'd be working with the president's legal defense team throughout the impeachment trial. Not so this time. McConnell is very much at this point open to convicting the president from his own party.
Extraordinary confluence of events in Washington, extraordinary security. Thank you, John, in Washington as well. So I want to bring in our Chief Justice Correspondent, Pierre Thomas. And Pierre, the president-elect was supposed to be taking Amtrak, which of course was his transportation of choice when he was a senator for so many years, into Washington. That had to be canceled because of the security concerns. What's the latest on the security threat right now?
George, he's not taking the train because the security situation is so serious. And George, as you point out, he's returning to Washington in the aftermath of an insurrection, a violent assault on the Capitol. And as a result, the security here is extraordinary. There are nearly 22,000 National Guard on duty, thousands of police, thousands of federal agents at the ready. And I can tell you, I've never seen anything quite like this in terms of inauguration security. And also, we're getting more details, George, about why they need the security. As we learn more about the people who assaulted the Capitol, we're getting a sense of just how dangerous the situation was. We learned today that they have filed the first conspiracy charges in connection with the assault. A man who is dubbed a leader of something called the Oath Keepers said by federal prosecutors to have led 8 to 10 men on an assault on the Capitol. Again, that's the first conspiracy charge. And George, we also got information today about why the security is being stepped up even more. 2 National Guard members have been removed from the security because of alleged ties to militias.
All the National Guard being screened for an insider threat. Thank you, Pierre. We're going to return now to our regular programming. The Vice President-elect is heading to Washington, D.C. now for...
Okay, thank you for joining us for this breaking news special report right here on the Riley King Network. Now back to your regular programming. See you back here later on today with more news coverage. Goodbye, everyone.